Let's take a look at this saga of insanity. So Nijisanji has been really losing it recently. They have done too much stupid stuff. Way much stupid stuff. And I bet there are lawyers telling them to shut it all the time. Because they keep on digging their hole left and right, wider and wider by the day. And I kind of was gone for a little bit, but I read a little bit about it, but we're gonna go. I'll get through all of this. Let's start with my favorite channel that manages most of these things. So let's just go through video after video.
People are, of course, wondering what's going to happen with the future of Nijisanji EN. This following the Selene.
I think that Nijisanji is probably gonna. They're gonna have a court case. They're gonna lose it. They're gonna go in depth. Most of their reputation is gonna be bad, and they're gonna fall to the ground in 2 years. Their stocks has gone down by one day with 10% or something like that. They're slowly fading away. I think that will be the case. Maybe I'm wrong, but I hope not I'm wrong.
Situation. Another post talking about people who refuse to watch Nijisanji now, and also unsubscribing from Nijisanji channel.
Hi Kim, how you doing?
Top comment reading. I used to watch Nina. She graduated. I moved on to Enna. She stopped streaming at EU Times. I watched Selene in the morning. Guess where that went? And yet another post highlights the Nijisanji EN livers activities since February 5th. Showing quite a reduction in activities from a variety of Nijisanji channels.
I've been doing
so we
good.
all know Nijisanji attempted to say that Selene had caused irreparable damage to the company's reputation or something.
And they try to deflect. So this is a problem with a company that can't handle responsibility at all. They cause issues. They create chaos. They do all the stupid shit. They don't follow the rules. They don't follow the tips from their lawyers. They just do whatever they want. And whenever things crumble down in their face, what do? They blame someone else. They blame their talents. And in the end of the day, this is all in front of the public. You cannot trick the public. We see it. It's like telling a blind kid that he's looking like it's telling a blind kid that has no idea where he's going, what he's doing, and keeps running to the wall. And you tell everybody he sees, he knows what he's doing. Look at that. Look at him going.
Of the sort. But then going on to say in a financial statement that it's all negligible, which they were pretty much
normal day. No, yeah, Valentine was yesterday was a wild day.
I think that Doki Bird has damaged
way
Nijisanji,
too much happening,
but not in the way that they're trying to say. Like nothing illegal and nothing actionable. Here's what I think. First, the obvious one. Nijisanji's gotten a ton of bad publicity for how terribly they handled the entire Selene situation, and they have no one to blame for that except themselves. The other thing is that with Nijisanji's increasingly terrible reputation,
I read how the threads of Nijisanji is very likely to have broken the law and leaking the personal info of Doki Bird. They have. Maybe not in Japan, but Doki Bird lives in Canada. And this is a thing they completely are forgetting. Because they're dealing with a legal case with a representative in Canada. They are breaking Canadian laws by just leaking the documentations that are going in that. Personal documentation, things that should not have been shown to the public. Doctor documentation, stuff like that. All of this is illegal. This is what I mean by the lawyers are literally there telling them to shut the hell up. Because they are constantly digging their grave deeper and deeper. All of this, you know what Nijisanji should have done with all of this? Not said a word. Not said a goddamn word. Because what they have said, all of this can be used in against them in court. All the things they've said will be used against them in court. They are not doing a good time. They're not going to do a good time. And I hope that we're going to get more into this, but there has been more happening. I'll comment on that when we get there.
Plus the massive success that Doki Bird has had returning as an indie. It shows that the current livers who are contracted with Nijisanji would be wise to reconsider updating those contracts and instead, when they get a chance to leave, doing just that and leaving. They would no longer have to pay Nijisanji a cut, no longer be tied to their terrible reputation, and no longer having to deal with how they take advantage of talents and their corporate
small
red
gift
tape.
goes far.
Many of these factors also apply to any potential new talents Niji would seek to bring in. So not only has Niji hurt themselves...
Who would sign with Nijisanji now? No, but I don't know what, like, you need to be really desperate if you would sign up with Nijisanji after this. Because the thing is that this is both a double-edged, edged sword. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I love the VTuber community. There are some parts that are bad. The majority of the VTuber community is super nice, friendly, welcoming, great. But they can get a stigma of things quickly, easily. And if you are basically supporting Nijisanji, there's a large portion of them that will not be happy about that at all. And I think it's kind of digging your own grave if you try to basically, there's nothing bad about being offended or not having an opinion about all of this going on, but something different about supporting it and then joining their company afterward. All of this has been going on. It's a bad look. And I don't think many people will jump into that unless they're really desperate.
With their current roster of talents, but they've
Well,
also
like, they
hurt
treat you
themselves
well
regarding any
anyways.
future talents as well. Not much else to say about this one. Those are the points, and consider letting me know what you think.
Yeah. So we're going to go through this point by point. There are more happening, so we're going to get through all of it.
Before we get to the crazy news with Nijisanji, quick disclaimer. Your boy just got back from the gym, Muay Thai and
Hell yeah.
powerlifting, and I'm on like zero energy. Like if I had a stamina bar, it would be 0 right now. So this coverage is probably going to be a little
Getting
scuffed,
fit and broken up.
My apologies in advance for that. And that's really it. So thanks for your patience. And now let's check out what's going on with Nijisanji. Elira Pandora had announced a stream link talking about the recent situation, referring to Selen and Doki Bird, you know, that whole thing. I tuned into it myself. Of course, we'll be talking about that, but just showing you this to start. So didn't go well for them. This Nijisanji damage control really did not go well.
I think this is where the Japanese companies really struggle. They have to stick up their ass about how they're always correct by their law and fail to realize that, you know, there's more laws than just there. Yeah, that's the problem. I think that's really that's a big issue. You can see that their way they're handling it is kind of like a little bit Japanese. Like, obviously they are treating things really poorly, but the fact they're talking about a lot of this is like the things they are saying. I think they're keeping their own laws in mind and not keeping laws in other countries. Like when you're dealing with talents that are broad, like international, they need to put in account where that talent is located as well. And they have broken a lot of laws for a talent, and they should have probably kept their mouth quiet instead of speaking about this, because they have done too many their conditions, and not only their working conditions, but at the same time leaking all these confidential information. It's just, they're breaking a lot of laws that might not have been broken in Japan, but they're breaking it in Canada for sure.
Including members of 29 months saying, I can't stand with this company anymore. Goodbye, y'all. And thankfully, this is my last one of these. Wish y'all the worst. So what exactly is going on here?
Wish you all the worst.
A 15-minute video on the dot posted on Elira Pandora's channel. And I say video despite the fact that this is live streamed, because it's just my suspicion that this is not even live. I think they recorded video and then posted it live. Many people pointing out how it sounds like they were reading right from a script. And overall, it seems like the reception towards this has been absolutely terrible for Nijisanji.
I don't think, by the way, I don't think there's anything wrong with reading a script whenever you're doing an apology, answering a question, whenever you are basically trying to respond to a situation. There's nothing wrong with reading a script, because often you might have a hard time putting your thoughts together and like say it out in a clear, understandable, structured way. And the best way forward is just to put it in a script. So I don't think that is super wrong at all, but maybe because people thinking, oh, there's no emotion, there's no feeling, this is all just a script. I think it's kind of, I think it is wrong to think that even if somebody wrote the script, there was nothing, no feelings behind it.
The first 4 minutes of the video having Elira explain what exactly the video/stream will be about.
Yeah, basically
many people
milk.
had a laugh at this 15-minute long stream just having a black screen the entire time, saying it was very fitting of Kuro-sanji. And before we even get to that, let's take a look at what Doki Bird has said in response to what was said by Nijisanji En. Doki Bird saying, I will say that it never supposed to be shown to anyone other than me, my lawyer, and other relevant lawyers. It was a private document with my own personal information and was used as a legal document to help my lawyer and document my thoughts. Plus was never supposed to release anywhere else to any other parties outside of the legal department. It makes me wonder.
Do you hear that? Not supposed to release anywhere else beside the legal department. You fucked up.
if my medical and hospital records was also released without my consent.
That is confidential information. So I know maybe this is not, I'm not sure about Japanese laws. I didn't live there long enough to know about all this shit. But most places in Europe, your medical and hospital like information and documentation, if you're gonna share that, you need to write a contract to allow that company or somebody to read it. They're not allowed to share it, but they can read it. These things are information that are not allowed to be shared among others. This is illegal to leak.
As that was also promised to me to be kept private. The document that she is referring
and also promised to keep private. There's another breaking point. Not enough did you leak confidential information, you broke a verbal contract. Two things you broke right there in that moment. There's probably even more in this one single situation. More laws you've broken in this one single situation that is not documented in this tweet. And I bet that if you had a lawyer in front of this, they could break it down to like 10 different things.
To is a key central part to what was said by Elira, Vox, and Ike in the live stream posted on Elira's channel. And Alouette, as well as Finna Ryugu, were not in the live stream, but they did make these tweets talking about them and sharing the link. It's pretty crazy how you have one girl, Selen/Doki, going up against all of the corpos at Nijisanji, and now also having multiple EN livers teaming up against her. Earlier today, I made a video.
And I bet that most of them are forced to do this. I bet that they are forced to do this by the company. I don't think... I doubt there are many of them that really wants to do this, but they are under contract and they don't want to lose their job. So they're just doing this because of that. Is that an excuse? I don't know. That's up to you to think. I think that if they generally... I don't know. Like, this is about the livelihood of somebody, you know? So it's kind of hard to say that. It's about them actually like getting getting money to pay their rent, pay their bills, pay their food bills. So it really depends on what you personally think. I'm not going to decide that. But I do think it's a minimum excuse, but not 100% of the excuse. I think there are it's like in the middle ground. It's both sad and, you know, yeah.
Talking about how Nijisanji may never recover.
Bro, I would communicate with the colleagues and just quit possibly. If it was me, I'd quit. I think, yeah, I've already had a situation like this with my work. I would stand my ground and I would just quit. I would not support it at all, but I'm just saying that it's about the livelihood of somebody. So I will not be the defining factor of deciding of how somebody else would live. You don't know their life, so it's hard to tell. It's hard to say if they are doing the wrong thing or the right thing. It is the wrong thing, but is it really the wrong thing for them themselves?
Situation, and they just made it so much worse. I went back and edited the title of that video from may never to will never. Now let's get back to the damage control.
Everything that'll be discussed has been approved by our lawyers or is based solely on our personal experiences. Before anything is discussed, there is something very important that we...
Corpo. I love corpo talk. I know, it's so hard. It's the script, Lima. Script, come on. Rah. We love you. Negligible. Oh my god.
Nijisanji EN feels need to be made very clear. All of us do not condone harassment of any kind to any of the parties involved.
She says that, and then Ike says it, and Vox says it. Or actually, Vox says it, then Ike says it.
Can you imagine if this was a Twitch chat? The amount of dumb emails you... People would just spam... Dude, people would spam... the dumbest shit. I think there's a different kind of atmosphere in the YouTube chat compared to a Twitch chat. If this was Twitch chat, I bet this would be way more darker.
My recollection, which is interesting considering that this is like 15 minutes of them going after Selen.
But what
Stocks
we say on
down.
this stream is our own words and our own feelings.
Good
and here's where she
corpo
talks about the
business.
document that Doki Bird mentioned in her tweet.
I would like to first apologize if my silence on the matter has caused any worry. Over the past month,
Any color stock
staff
dropped
received documents from
25% in
Solan's
10
lawyer
days.
containing
Good.
examples of her claimed experiences
Drop
under
more.
any color.
Hi, Buck, yeah.
These documents in question included personal information of some livers, and when it was sent to us, we learned that there was a potential that this information could be made public. Some of the information poses a risk to our personal safety, and puts some of us at risk of doxing.
As the comments point out, this entire situation with the document is very strange. This is a matter that should be private between the lawyers, yet they just went on air for 15 minutes talking about this document, and later on, Vox even showing apparently a portion of it. And again, I suppose on air is not the best phrasing when I think this was a pre-recorded video that was just aired live, but you get the point. Skipping ahead to the part with Vox where he shows this part, apparently from the legal document, although I'm not 100% sure that it's a part of the legal document considering that I haven't read it for myself. But if this is a part of the legal document, this should be kept between lawyers. This is certainly not something that they should be airing to the public.
I am so confused. Are they all like children? Why are they presenting all of this information? It's just so stupid. Like, how dumb are you? Why are you presenting this to your to fan bases? Like, what is this?
And that's pretty much
that they're trying to like protect their reputation, but this is so dumb.
Recurring theme with this entire stream. As the comment at the top even points out, the fact that Nijisanji is using their own talents for damage control puts such a bad taste in my mouth. Absolutely. But according to Vox as well, it sounds like they have plenty of free will of their own, so to speak, so it seems like they're also willingly doing this to attempt to save face for Nijisanji En. Vox then goes on blaming Selene for a number of accusations of her handling things very poorly over at Nijisanji. Pretty ironic considering what they're all doing right now and how poorly this stream has been received.
It's very important to establish this pattern of events had happened before on multiple occasions, including her Fall Guys tournament in August of 2023, a voice pack in May of the same year, and an outfit contest also in May. In each of these situations, Selene would be working on one of the projects I mentioned. She'd be given clear communication about confirming certain aspects with staff, as all other livers receive and comply with.
So why is Vox talking? Why are the talents talking? Are you her boss? Were you her boss? Claire, where's the manager that caused all of this dog shit to happen? Like, where are those? Why are they not talking? Man, this sucks. And you know he's forced to do this. That's the worst part about it. He's forced to do this shit.
And each time, she would refuse to cooperate. And when staff would react appropriately, she would make public statements that would hurt
X
any
to doubt L.
And as these situations kept occurring, myself and other livers felt very upset and anxious.
So according to Vox, the staff was always acting appropriately.
Why does he keep on fire breathing on a mob?
Who was so out of line.
Super far away.
I don't buy it. It's like I said in my very first video talking about the entire Selene situation. And I mentioned that, to be fair, I don't know for sure what all occurred. I don't have omniscientific knowledge. I'm not some crazy entity here, right? Like, I'm just a dude looking at the information that I have. And the fact of the matter is, given Nijisanji's bad track record before this entire Selene situation, like they already had a bad track record before that, I'm not inclined to believe anything that Nijisanji says.
True.
And now Vox will return to talking more about
and why would anyone believe what they say in the future, ever? Would you believe it?
Case.
Having thoroughly reviewed the documents sent to Anycolor by her lawyer, and based on what I know personally and have been told by Selene as her friend.
I'm gonna be honest, I want to say this. I think the W community was a fucking blessing. I love the L and W spam. It's just, I don't know.
Myself and other members vehemently believe these claims to be completely untrue.
What a weird thing that he's even involved like this, that they're even doing this whole video. It's really bizarre. But skipping ahead again, here's Vox talking about the quote-unquote like free will that livers have.
For context, leaving Nijisanji is always an option for livers. If she had wanted to graduate...
Why are you not leaving? Why do you support this shit? Why are you not leaving then, huh?
Beforehand, she was given very many chances to do so amicably.
Well, if it's really that easy to leave Nijisanji, a lot of people are now going to be a lot more skeptical of any livers who decide to stay there. But
exactly. That is exactly what I mean. Like, yeah, I talked about livelihood stuff earlier, but why would they be? Why would they trust any? Now you put every single liver in Nijisanji under the belt with just that one quote, because now you have given fuel that. Every single one working there support this shit. They support all of this.
JP side, if the JP livers are not as in the loop regarding this entire situation. And this next part just comes off like Vox is just gaslighting everybody.
And I listened to her narrative of half or untruths about her relationship with Anycolor, This caused me so much anger on her behalf that I had considered graduating with her in solidarity. Seriously. And I now know that my intense feelings at the time came from omitted context and falsehoods. And that, once again, is heartbreaking. I'm incredibly happy with my job, and even in the face of times as hard as these, I really wouldn't want it any other way.
The thing is, Nijisanji has a terrible track record and terrible reputation even before this entire Selene situation. Now, this amplified stuff orders of magnitude beyond, because this is arguably the worst thing that has come out about Nijisanji, but this entire 15-minute live stream really comes off like not only damage control, but also an attempt at diverting attention away from Nijisanji and how bad that corporation is as a whole. And
you need to remember this. Nijisanji has had for like 2 years prior to this a pretty bad track record about their management. It has not been an unknown thing that their managements are completely out of the loop and don't know what they're doing. So everything happening here, it makes sense. It is at a line of how things have been going in the past. So it's really hard to say yeah, it's definitely Nijisanji that is not in the wrong here.
Instead, trying to
21,
divert all
that's
of
pretty
the
huge
attention
though.
Over to Selene and their various accusations of her.
Bro, I should start a VTuber company. Man, that sounds like a lot of money. Just treat them right and give them opportunities and they're good to go.
Alleged wrongdoings. Later in the stream, after Ike takes over, sounds like more gaslighting.
Right now, we're all very stressed. But in spite of this,
Daddy.
I feel like the public deserves
I'd
to
fucking
at
do
the
it. That
very
sounds
least
fun.
be aware of the existence of these documents, as well as of some of its contents, for the sake of transparency and honesty.
Yeah, well, in general, when corpos or people speaking on behalf of corpos talk about transparency and honesty, they're really doing the opposite. They're going to reveal certain pieces of info, but only things that they want to reveal. It's not being transparent. It's just, as we already know, damage control. Ike then closes with this.
We'll continue to do our utmost to provide a safe and fun environment for fans to enjoy together. And lastly, to round this off, I want to reiterate, please do not spread hate to anyone involved in any way, shape, or form, or anyone in general, honestly. We ask that in these times you allow us to continue our activities without asking us for any additional information about the situation. At this point, it's an issue for the lawyers, and we ask...
they should take that last tip. It's an issue for the lawyers. Shut the fuck up. Holy, this is both awkward and stupid. I think this is so dumb. Why are they doing this?
That you do not pressure any of us to discuss the matter beyond this point.
So that's pretty much the end of the stream, and those are some of the highlight areas that I wanted to go over. And as you could see from the live chat, and maybe you've already seen this elsewhere on the internet already, but that entire stream is, I don't even know what words to use here. Monumental backlash might be good. Even that might be an understatement. Like, whatever the highest level of backlash is, let's use that word here.
It didn't
that
go
did not
well
help
for them.
EG or the talent there
Welcome
at
back,
all.
Dave.
As a matter of fact, that seems to have just made everything so much worse.
Yep.
On Reddit, one user would say, wait, so Nishi-en is illegally breaching their own NDA they signed with Selene now? And a response reads, watching Doki stream right now, and she stated they have, in fact, illegally leaked a document she signed. On Twitter, things are going very poorly for them too, with this tweet from just 3 hours ago already collecting over 5,600 likes, reading, Elira, Vox, and Ike do not deserve the platforms that they have been given, whether they were told to do this by management or not. They had the option not to, yet they still did. Hold these livers accountable.
Leaking your own
Anyways, make sure you
NDA.
subscribe to Doki.
Hey, they signed it. Why can't they leak it, right? They created the NDA. They can leak it whenever they want.
And circling
Genius
back to
move.
my tweet once again, even long-standing members are saying they will no longer support the company after that stream. It seems the general public's distaste towards Niji is so strong now that hypothetically, if Doki was actually in the wrong on any of the things that these various people are trying to accuse her of, that it still would not improve anything for Nijisanji. People have seen very much firsthand how this corporation is ran and the things that they'll do and have other people do. But as I said at the very start of this video, this is your boy on zero energy, so I'm going to start wrapping this one up. I hope this coverage...
We have more. They had another live stream, by the way.
Last night we talked about the statement made by Nijisanji En against Selene and the backlash that they got for it. And about 4 hours after that statement, the Nijisanji CEO himself issued his own statement, saying in the description, "In this video, I, Riku Tazumi, CEO of Any Color Inc., will be addressing concerns that have arisen as a result of recent events regarding the contract termination of Selene Tatsuki. I will do my best to connect with you in English, so please allow me to use my notes to help me deliver this message to you directly." 4 hours ago, someone saying, for anyone wondering, the like ratio is 11K to 38K.
The fact that they even got 11K is interesting. I feel like this is botted. I do feel like this is botted. I think they botted the like ratio.
Likely only having gotten worse since then. And you can see the majority of the comments are pretty dang critical. In the statement, Riku issues a number of apologies and tries to clear up a number of things. Ultimately, consider watching it on your own and making of it what you will. And then later on, another statement was issued, this one on Twitter, by
Learn to move from Hoyo. Yeah, you gotta learn from the best.
Talking about the live stream statement issued by Nijisanji En last night, which as of this morning apparently has over 100,000 dislikes versus 28,000 likes. And going back to the Twitter statement, they end by saying, after a rigorous legal check, Any Color Incorporated hereby declares that it has not made any confidentiality violations while checking the validity of claims made by Selene.
You can say whatever you want, but the law is the law. You can say you have not broken any rules, any laws, but the law is the law, and the law is going to come for you because you have broken many things.
Her lawyers with its affiliated livers. However, later getting a community note that reads, the post mentions that, quote, our livers are not held by any confidentiality obligation, unquote. This is not true since on Selene Tatsuki termination they mention, quote, these rules are designated to prevent leakage of confidential information. One of the most liked responses saying, you guys really just said, quote, we're not in legal trouble, unquote, in as many words as you can. Hopping over to Reddit, a post pointing out a different Nijisanji En liver, Scarl, and saying, out here regaining my faith that not all of them are bad, and apparently showing her having hearted a comment.
It's kind of hard to say. There might be Kuro dipped and joined Vshoujo. A big play. Big play. It must feel like a delight from going from one company, one corpo that treats you like shit and take everything to go to a corpo that treats you like a decent content creator. What a big play. I feel like more should do this.
Says Kuro Sanji. However, the source of that apparently being removed, causing people to speculate if management took over her accounts.
Probably.
And another post reading Scarl. Scarl has 3 upcoming streams with live chat that just been disabled. Her PL reactivated, and she's made 2 comments before chat got nuked. Did she get got? And apparently this comment reading,
they got her.
Everything. People in the responses there further speculating and even saying that she's going nuclear. Seems like there might be some disagreements internally at Nijisanji with how things have been handled and how things are unfolding. In closing, I kept this one rather quick considering that it was pretty easy for me to condense these updates, so didn't want to take up too much of your time. As always, thank you so much for tuning in, and consider letting me know what you think about all of this in the comments. Thank you for tuning in. I hope to see you there, and I hope to see you in the next segment. Have a great rest of your day.
We're not done yet. This is the final one.
Well, it looks like another day, and
since they leaked so much info, Doki has made her own response.
Another update in the Nijisanji situation. Doki Bird issuing a full response to what Niji En livers had to say on that stream from a few days ago. Let's take a look at what Doki has to say. I was ready to move on. I had made my last statement and I haven't looked at anything regarding my past for a full week. I didn't look at anything regarding legal documents or anything regarding my situation since I moved back to Doki. I wanted to be hopeful for the future and never interact with that side again. So sad to see it all come back and reopen a wound that I was ready to heal from and have to talk to my lawyer again on how to respond. And
this is the sad part. So Doki has been hurt so much and mentally she's so drained of this. This is as sadistic as the sound. This was probably Nijisanji's salvation. That she wanted to just lay this bare and move on. Because they have broken too many things They've done a lot of illegal shit that would be looked upon in Canada in a court case in favor of Doki. They had Doki ready to move on. But Nijisanji just dug their own grave, reopened it all, and pushed them down further and further, by the same time as also inflicting Doki upon the things and the situations and everything she wished to just move on, forget. And now they bring it up so she has to jump into it, thinking about this, stressing about this, and also now make it into a bigger case, which is insane. Both, it's really sad that she can't be able to escape it. I hope to God that her court case ends quickly and it goes to her favor so she can focus further on herself, her community, and take it easy and move on. But goddamn, the incompetence of Nijisanji is insane.
Talk to my lawyer again on how to respond. And next she'll talk about the document that was mentioned multiple times in the live stream mentioned at the beginning of the video. The one that Vox in particular seemed to have a lot to say about. So now back to Doki. She says, the document mentioned was at first made to document my thoughts and history with evidence so that my lawyer can see the general picture of what was going on and if there were issues that should be addressed. It was first made during my darkest time mentally, and I wrote everything on my mind little by little at that time. I made the document thinking that it was never going to be public to anyone but to my lawyer. Although it was a document filled with my personal info as well, privacy info that should not be public, there were no other addresses or specific locations mentioned. Regarding a recording, this was not intended to be anything other than a distribution test for planning of a collaborative event between two people, which happened to be left over from one test recording. And I never recorded any other conversations with anyone. The recording was never shown anywhere, even in a legal setting, and there are no other records. However, I regret that it was mentioned, and I am sorry to all parties.
It's common gross manipulative tactics. Yeah, it's basically you are so fucking dark that you would try to force a victim to jump into a rabbit hole that actually haunts them. And you are playing by the fact that they will not talk about it or open the wound up to share it to the public or to the court because they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to open the wound. So you're going into the deepest and the hardest ship ever and putting that up onto the stake, hurting the victim even further just on the play that they will most likely not talk about this.
Affected for the misunderstanding in this. I requested that I just wanted to move on. Sometimes I didn't hear anything for days from the lawyers on the other side and felt like I'd been alone and isolated for a long time. It made it so hard for me mentally. On February 5th, my lawyer discussed and said it will be best to show the document I wrote to the other lawyers, as we have not heard from them for a week or any negotiation talks or given a meeting to discuss after my request to part. It was never intended to be used for anything else. I've asked my lawyer to convey that and have communication that the document, as it was written, was not going to be released anywhere, and my lawyer did so when sending the document. Less than 2 hours after my lawyer sent the document, the termination notice came out. I was very shocked, but thought that was the last time I will hear or think about the document, and that this, personally, and my own opinion, was the end of the lawyers and legal involvement. Alright, I'm going to pause real quick, but I'm just going to try and be very brief on this part because I want to focus on what Doki has to say here. But with the information that we were just given, this makes it sound like all Doki really wanted to do was to simply leave Nijisanji. But for whatever reason, she had to get her lawyer involved, potentially due to contracts and things like that. But this is particularly interesting because on the EN Livers stream on Pandora's channel from a few days ago, Vox had made it sound like it's very easy for anyone to leave the company if they want. But apparently with Doki, it really wasn't that easy for her to leave.
Isn't that funny? Now, isn't that funny?
Even now, here we are.
Wow.
And of course, we'll never know 100% without a shadow of a doubt, like what actually happened here.
That is the thing. Like, the company can sit there and lie as much as they want to the public, but things will crumble up. The truth will be revealed, and the public will see what's happening.
What we can do is assess the publicly available information and make the most reasonable assessment possible. Once again, back to Doki. She says, all of the communication was done between lawyers in Japanese. Things are not black and white, and everything gets more complicated and muddled when lawyers are involved in a different country. When things are conveyed to multiple parties through different degrees of communication, everything turns into different narratives and different translations. I thought it was over, and I've accepted what happened and was ready to move on. Everything I post to the public about the situation was a response. If it was a month ago, it would have been different, as I was angry, but I was also very alone in my head. But it's not a month ago, and I've accepted it. I wanted it to be neutral and private, but now the whole world is involved and the public is watching every step that happens. I am not perfect and I have faults. I had to watch my dad cry and break down in front of me for the first time in my life last night.
That is hard to see your parents cry. I don't know if anybody has felt that, but I'm gonna be honest, seeing your parents cry, bruh, that is rough.
Thing that has happened, please show kindness to all parties involved. There are real people behind the monitors.
I've experienced that. I've experienced that too, dude. There is if you care and love your parents a lot, seeing your parents cry, fuck, that breaks you down.
Why I wanted this to be private is that the internet can be a cruel place, and I knew this would happen the moment this type of notice drops. What I didn't reveal to anyone, and only my parents and therapists knew, was that it was not one attempt but two, which happened a few weeks after the first. My parents found me in time after searching for me for hours before anything happened. I was in a really dark place, and I do not wish this to anyone. No one should go through what I went through. I wish them all the best,
I
reveal this now not for pity, but to state that no life, no matter what, should be risked for ego or winning anything. There are no winners in this. Please don't make it like high school. Treat everyone like adults, and with some empathy and kindness. For those who wish to see receipts or documents or anything else, hoping I will reveal them, I'm sorry, but these are the things that should be private and, if needed, between lawyers.
That is insane that she has more competence than a whole goddamn company, isn't it? Wow. Smart. Good. Jesus. Because, like, who would be dumb enough to reveal this? Oh, well, we have one.
Revealing private documents and talking about the details within will only just make things worse and more complicated.
The company has money and no experience.
It'll just hurt everyone.
That's why you hire people with experience and they handle it. Like, I don't get it. Like, hire a lawyer. Hire people that know PR. Don't do it yourself. You have the money. Just hire someone to deal with it.
No one deserves to be pushed over the edge. So many people have got hurt and involved, even if they were innocent bystanders.
Smart.
In the end, I will always be here to respond, and that is the only thing I will do in public.
Wow.
I hope this will be the last statement I have to make.
Fucking classic.
Hopping over to the Niji Reddit, we've got some responses here at the very top. The top comment reads, "Reading this statement really hurt, man. Not even once, but twice. I'm glad she's still with us. That's all I got to say." A response
give
reading,
her as much love as you can.
Her dad breaking down and crying really
everybody
got me.
does.
His precious daughter, who laughs, brightens up a whole room full of strangers, just attempted to take her own life, and now the monsters who are responsible for her pain just declared war on her on a stream. How the heck can these people sleep at night? And a response reading. I've heard people try and downplay the consequences of doing a public slander piece by three supposed friends, no less, of someone who is suicidal both here and elsewhere on the internet, and it's just baffling.
You need to remember that all of the people within the company, the content creators, they were our friends. They were our colleagues for a while. They knew each other for a long time. So you need to understand that the fact that Nijisanji put all of her friends on top of a pool and said all of these things as well, that's even more damaging on top of everything else. Like, I mean, it's just, dude, they're just playing around this way too hard.
Yeah, no surprise her dad would break down. Anyone in their right mind would know how bad this is during a time when someone is especially vulnerable for someone they care about and what it might push them to. Niji must have known. The three livers that did this must have known. You don't get to shove someone teetering on the edge and pretend you didn't know what could happen. And the person who was just responded to then responds to that person saying, I know. This is why I'm so angry and disappointed at those three that the whole argument that they are quote unquote forced to do that video has been frickin' thrown out the window. What the heck would these three feel if she does it again and is successful? I wonder what these three would feel. I've been through what she's been through, but never managed to go through with it with the help of my family and friends. So this really shakes me to my core, and I think I need to take a break from visiting the sites. Elsewhere in the thread, people hope that she can just move forward now, finally. Yet others say that Niji's just gonna keep pouring more gasoline in the fire.
I think that this is my thing. I feel like she has to go through this like a court case. They have to end it with her winning so that Nijisanji can never talk about her again or bring it up again. She has to literally take them to court and deal with them for them to never talk about her again, else they will keep talking about it. That is the only source of action forward.
And the OP of the post itself references one of Doki's recent live streams and says, "All we wanted to do was watch her goof around in Neopets, any color." And some further speculation in this post reads, "Okay, so now we know why Nijisanji terminated her the way they did. They were willing to drag the situation for as long as possible. I guess they were still hoping that Selene would relent and come back as she was one of their biggest members. However, the moment the legal document came through, it was like inflammatory reflect, as if they attempted to make a preemptive strike against Doki. It was as if they were scared that she might sue them, but that still does not explain the childish and amateurish mishaps." Yeah, it's odd. I mean, if they were afraid she was going to sue them when all she wanted to do was leave the company, then why would they not just let her leave the company? It seems like denying her that would make her more likely to sue, not less likely. So the whole thing is just really weird. But perhaps weird logic is part of the chorus with Nijisanji. And finally, people compare how Doki has handled this entire situation with how Niji has handled this situation, saying this is how a person with dignity responds. Everyone should learn from her how to reply with class. One cursed stream that did far more harm than good, referencing the Niji-en livestream. And this person saying, "That's still putting it mildly. Is there even any good we got from the stream? 3 Niji livers went on the stage to slander a former coworker and alleged friend, damaging their reputation forever. 2 others were named for no frickin' reason, making people point fingers at them. Doki's first gaming stream was cut short, giving a recovering girl another mental blow." Alright, that's where I'll wrap the segment up. That's Doki's statement, some of my opinion, and some public reception. Consider letting me know what you think about all of this in the comments, however. I'll see you there. And
yeah, I think, I'm gonna be honest. I think the only way to move forward is for her to take them to court, win the battle, get a large sum of money, and put it in the final deed that they are not allowed to bring her documentation or speak of her ever again. And same for the rest of the leadership within the company, or anyone associated within the company are not allowed. And then she can finally put it to pass her and move on. I think overall, I think Nijisanji will keep on being as shit as they are until they lose a court case like this, and then they might have to stop propping up and understand that they cannot treat talents outside of Japan like the way they're doing here, because they are dealing with laws outside of their own country, and they might have bent it many times because people don't follow it up. People are uneducated in other countries, and they are young. Most talents are super young, so they don't know anything about the outside world, their rights, and what they can do, and how they can prevent things to happen. I hope to damn God that she pushes through. Her family backs her out, much love to her and her family, that they actually go through a court case, finishes up so she can lay bare and let it rest. And I hope that Nijisanji falls after that. I hope the whole company burns. It probably won't, but I hope it does. And all I can say is that I will never watch, support anything or anyone from that company. If you decide to leave, that's a different case, but anyone in that company, anyone working there, any talents, I will always, forever, never support anyone there. And that's a shame, because I liked Vox, but I will never watch Vox again. I'll never support anyone in the company. It's not even I don't know if even it's a personal thing. I don't know what he's been forced to say or what his personal opinion is, but overall, I will never support that company ever again. They'll shut AN at the very least. I think they will shut down English department. I think that, and just stick to probably just purely Japanese and maybe some Asian countries, but they will probably shut down the English department for sure. But yeah, I wish her all the best. This is sad. This is overall sad in my opinion. It's insane. It's insane. Hi, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like the video and subscribe. I'll post videos nearly every day, so if you want to watch any more reactions, feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you there.